Welcome to HydroGeek. This is the your host, Dr. Mrinmay Mujumdar speaking. So today we'll discuss about how can we identify the best locations for building rainwater harvesting ponds in national parks to benefit the wild animals. So as you know, in national park they are protected area, or you can say it, they are protected forest where wild animals live without any fear, and they are conserved and they are taken care of, but of course in their natural habitat. But in recent years what we have seen is scarcity of water is impacting the wild animals of these national parks also. It is not only human that are being affected for this rising temperature. It is also the wildlife of not only the zoos but also in the national park, reserve forest, small jungles. These wild animals are taken the or is being impacted by the scorching heat, and due to the scorching heat, what happened is the water at the ponds or wetlands, whatever is available within the boundary of national park, they are drying fast. And during summertime, in some places, there are no water on into the in those water bodies. So at that time, wild animals are in great danger. Many such animals die of thirst, and many other become ill, and they face a tremendous, what can I say, tremendous uh, catastrophe due to this absence of water, because all wild animals need water to sustain their livelihood. Take the example of tiger. Tiger needs a lot of water. After preying and eating its prey, it requires to drink how many liters of water? Do you have any idea? After food, the tiger requires at least 20 gallons of water. So just to imagine. And you know, sorry, tiger cannot survive without water. uh, and what? So, you know, after drinking 20 gallons of water, it digests the food. It helps it to digest the food and also to sustain his livelihood. So this is just one example. If you search in the internet for the water requirement of lion, water requirement of cheetah, water requirement of deer, you will find every wild animal has a huge requirement of water, which increases if they consume food. So without water, they cannot digest the food, and as a result, what happens? They dies very, very, very painful death. So you need water in the national park, and one of the way that you can ensure water during the summertime is to install or develop rainwater harvesting pond within the boundary of national parks. Okay, if you can develop the rainwater harvesting ponds within the national parks, then these rainwater will be conserved in on those ponds, which the wild animals can feed or drink when summer is there. Because during monsoon there are water, but during summer there is no water. Even the water in the available wetlands become totally dry. Okay, so if we can create some rainwater harvesting ponds, then it can ensure that some amount of water will be there even at the time of summer. But these rainwater harvesting ponds need to be developed in strategical location where maximum amount of wild animal get benefited. If you develop a rainwater harvesting pond in an area of a national park where no animals visit, then that is a waste of money. So during the planning phase, uh, there must be some objective decision making regarding the selection of location for building rainwater harvesting ponds in national parks. Okay, so what are the factors that you need to consider? Look, the main factor is uh, it is better to construct rainwater harvesting pond near watering holes or streams. If there is a existing watering holes or stream in the national park, construct the rainwater harvesting pond there. Because when the water overflows during the monsoon season from the channel, those overflowed water can be stored in those ponds. Because while the water get receded, they will be blocked on those ponds or retained on those ponds. But the water cannot escape uh, those areas and they will be retained there. Okay, and this means easy access for animals to reach water and also provides a natural habitat for aquatic species which can be again act as a source of food for the wild animal, because tiger, cheetah, any cat species, they eat fish. Okay, so nearer the location of rainwater harvesting pond towards the stream or watering holes, it is better. Yeah. Second factor to consider, the concentration of wildlife. If you visit a national park, you will find not every area is covered by wildlife or frequented by wildlife. It is only certain areas where wildlife activity is maximum. So you have to construct the rainwater harvesting pond on those areas, because then it will be very easily accessible for the wild animals to drink the water from rainwater harvesting ponds. Because if you construct the pond in some places where there is no wildlife activity, then that is of no use. Okay, so this is the second factor, that areas with high wildlife activity must be selected for construction of rainwater harvesting ponds. Third factor to consider is that you must select those locations which are prone to drought or water scarcity. Here also, in some places of national park, infiltration of water is very high. Infiltration rate of water is very high due to the soil texture or many other factors. So, if the infiltration rate is very high, that means water cannot be stored on the surface. After rainfall occurs, the water will infiltrate and goes to the subsurface and then to the groundwater aquifers, or it will seep out to a to the nearest channel or streams. but it will not be retained in the watershed for consumption of the wild animal. But the wild animals cannot consume them later on. Okay, so for those areas, you find there will be territory of tiger or territory of lions in those areas. So you have to construct the rainwater harvesting pond on those drought-prone areas. That will ensure that even in the absence of water, these water harvesting ponds will store the water required for the wild animals. Okay, so it helps to mitigate the effect of climate change also and provides a reliable water source during dry periods, supports the survival of wildlife species that rely on water for hydration. Okay, so nearer to the location of areas prone to drought, the better will be the preference. And there you will also consider the benefits of building rainwater harvesting ponds in national parks. Okay, if in any national park, if you dare construct a rainwater harvesting and the benefits from that pond is minimum, then also it is the waste of money. So by benefit, what I mean? By benefit, I mean improves overall ecosystem health, reduces human wildlife conflicts over water sources, because in many places, like for example Kerala or Sundarban Tiger Reserve or Kanha, there are lots of wildlife and human conflicts over water source, because from a single source, wildlife drink their water and human also collect their water. So whenever wildlife comes to drink water, if there are human present, then they get wildlife get disturbed, and also humans also get frightened, and they try to attack the wildlife, and thus the conflicts takes place. And if you construct rainwater harvesting ponds, it will enhance the visitor experience. You know, all the national parks are tourist spots. Make it clear. National parks are now developed to attract tourists, because that is the way national parks can earn money for their sustenance. And people flock to those national parks for wildlife sightings. So if you construct rainwater harvesting pond, it will only add to the beauty of the forest. And when the wildlife comes to drink water from those ponds, and if you construct a watchtower or something known as macha just beside the pond, then tourists can watch wildlife from the tower or macha itself. So there are similar benefits for constructing rainwater harvesting pond, but the three main benefit is it improves the overall ecosystem of the national park, reduces human wildlife conflicts, enhance the visitor experience of the tourist. So the places where these benefits increases or some more benefits can be added, select those location for construction of rainwater harvesting pond. Okay, so these four are the main factor that you must consider for selection of location where you can construct rainwater harvesting pond within the boundary of national park. Okay, and to maintain objectivity, that means what do you mean by objectivity? Objectivity means even if the decision makers or the experts changes, the decision will not change, right? Because if you depend upon subjective decision, then when decision makers change, the decision will also change. For example, take the example of the coach of a football team. Okay, if Maradona is coaching the Argentine team, then he will select a certain number of uh, certain players into its playing 11. And if Scolari is the coach of the same Argentine team, he will select some other uh, members for playing 11. Although they will be common, but there will also be some people who are uncommon. That was not common for both the team. So you see, just by changing the coach, who is the decision maker for selection of the football team who will play, you see the players change. So in similar manner, if you decide take decision based on subjective inputs, that means the inputs from experts, then this decision is prone to be changed whenever the experts are also changed. And to impose or imbibe objectivity, you can use multi-criteria decision making methods like AHP analytical hierarchy process, ANP analytical network process, or Macbeth like techniques. Okay, so when you use them, then the decision will be done based on priority ranking. And this ranking can be derived from the literatures, existing literatures, right? From, say, for example, from data available in the websites, right? So similar sources can be consulted uh, to take the or to assign the priority rank to each of the alternative. And for MCDM, there will be, if there is alternative, then there will be criteria, because alternatives are compared with each other with respect to the criteria only. Now, in this problem, the alternative will be A, B, C, D. You see, near watering holes or streams, in areas with higher wildlife activity, near areas prone to drought or water scarcity. Benefits. How many benefits? And in this case, you can consider efficacy and utility of the rainwater harvesting pond and cost for installation and maintenance of the pond as the criteria. So, in this way, you can easily point out the weightage of significance of each of these alternative A, B, C, D, and then based on the values of A, B, C, and D, you can find the locations of rainwater harvesting ponds on or within the national park. And the factors, you see, these are the four main factors, and you can add a sub layer to consider the sub factors also. By sub factors, we mean easy access for animals to reach water, can supplement existing water source or not, provides a natural habitat for aquatic species or not, so nearer to the location or not, and so on. So this ABCD can be the alternative, and efficacy and utility of the rainwater harvesting pond and cost and maintenance required for these ponds will or can be the criteria. Now, after implementing the AHP, you'll find weightage of importance assigned to each of the alternative A, B, C, D, and from those alternatives, you can develop a location selection index, which is nothing but the weighted average of all the values of all the locations considered in this study, and then the marriage ceremony closes. So thank you, and see you next time.